Back now to the Zimmerman trial in Florida. Greta is still with us. The case is now in the hands of the jury, but should this case have even gone to trial? Geraldo Rivera says race politics forced Florida to pursue a weak case against Zimmerman and blames civil rights activists like Al Sharpton for getting Zimmerman prosecuted in the first place.
This was a case brought because of political pressure, race politics in this country. I hate to say it, I hold the Reverend Al Sharpton in much higher regard than many of my colleagues. I won't speak for any of you presently, but I think I do. But I totally believe that the Reverend Al is the catalyst behind the murder-to charge 6 weeks after the incident.
And here's what Sharpton said back in March of 2012.
We are tired of going to jail for nothing and others going home for something. Zimmerman should have been arrested that night. Don't talk to us like we stupid. Don't talk to us like we ignorant. We love our children like you love yours. Lock them up.
Greg, you're buddies with Sharpton, aren't you?
Yeah, we go way back to the Tawana Brawley hoax. How this guy is allowed to be taken seriously after two major incidents, one that led to somebody's death, another one that ruined so many lives. Tawana Brawley hoax, where the woman claimed that she was raped by 5 men, which he helped propagate, and when it turned out to be a hoax, what did he do? Nothing. He continued with his career as a race baiter. Then you had the Crown Heights riots, in which the death of Yankel Rosenbaum. Because, you know, because of his sheer anti-Semitism, and he is now out here doing this. You know, the things he's saying might be legitimate. There should be anger, but he's not the person to express this. And now we have unrest that is trumping arrest. Justice is being influenced by fear, and he is one of the primary instigators. And if there is death, and if there is violence because of a riot, he's got to be part of the blame.
Go ahead, Bob. You think
well, first of all,
right?
I don't go to the Brawley case, for example. Not only that, he ruined the career of that prosecutor.
Yes.
In a horrible way. I know Sharpton for a long time, and I guess I would consider him a friend of mine. But having said that, I don't think that Al Sharpton was the one who singularly pushed this thing into a trial. I mean, I hear what Geraldo's saying, but I just don't buy it. I don't think one guy giving one speech.
But on the other hand, you've said leaders in the black community should be putting a calming tone on it rather than inciting violence.
Correct. But that was, remember, this was a long time ago.
So a year ago. Well, how long ago is that? I mean, he's been on MSNBC since then, hasn't he?
No, I think he should. I think he should try to walk it back if he could, but I don't think he can.
He can't do it on MSNBC because nobody's watching it.
He doesn't want to walk it back, though. This keeps him relevant.
Yeah.
Hitting the rewind button for the nation keeps Al Sharpton relevant, and that's what he wants, even though it's completely unproductive. Roger Simon, who runs Pajama Media, called this racial nostalgia. They long for the time of the civil rights era, so they continue to fight these battles that hurt all of us. I mean, Bill Lee, the chief of police, said he did not have suspicion to arrest Zimmerman that night. Should it have gone to trial, Eric? I don't know. Maybe, but not in this way. Not to the court of public opinion first. And I will say, it's not just Sharpton. You're exactly right. It's President Barack Obama speaking up, talking about how if he had a son, it would look like Trayvon, so that everyone watching pictures the president's son murdered. It's stuff like that, it's rhetoric like that, that is not helpful to uniting this country.
Well, I'm going to try to take the other side just because I'm going to give it a shot. It had been 6 weeks, and there had been no arrest made. We did have a 17-year-old kid was killed, and whether or not that was manslaughter or second-degree murder or it was in self-defense, I think that's why there needed to be a trial. And if not Al Sharpton, who else was going to step up? Up to then, nobody had.
That's the sad part, is that what you're saying is correct, but there has to be better leaders. And look, for hundreds and hundreds of years, whites have had charlatans as leaders. We've had incredibly corrupt leaders, you know, and now we're in this modern period where, you know, blacks have their leaders. They're entitled to have bad leaders too, is what I'm saying, but let's get better ones.
Greta, you're there. You're seeing the people. You're seeing the groups getting bigger and bigger. You're hearing these words on TV. Are you concerned about people listening to Al Sharpton?
You know, well, yeah, sure. I mean, anybody who's out there, if you're throwing, you know, fuel on the fire. But look, this is a great opportunity for Reverend Al Sharpton right now to emerge and try to put everything at rest. I mean, instead of us sort of looking back and picking at old scabs, this would be a really good time. We don't even have a jury verdict. We don't know which way it's going to go. Wouldn't it be great if leaders, would come out and do the right thing and start saying, look, justice is when you have facts in a courtroom decided by a jury that both sides agree to. I mean, this is a perfect time for someone to emerge. So, we don't need trouble. We need sort of leadership. And I will add one other thing that bothered me about President Obama, who is a lawyer. Let's back up to that little fuss up in Cambridge early on in his administration when he said that the COP Act, he said, I don't know much about the facts, but the COP acted stupidly. I expect more of lawyers. And Al Sharpton's not a lawyer, but he certainly is a leader, and I expect more of him. I want him to emerge, here as, whatever the verdict is, to do the right thing, and we have to stop picking at old scabs and trying to cause trouble.
Greta, does it bother you at all that President Obama said he wouldn't weigh in on the Gosnell trial, but he will weigh in on certain things? He'll cherry pick issues that he feels are beneficial?
I've lived in Washington way too long to be disturbed by things like that. I say sort of, jokingly. Look, I think I would hope that the president, if he had a chance to think about it, would like to do over on both of those. The president shouldn't be weighing in on these, on these trials. I mean, maybe there's some trial that he should. I don't know, but when one is so, is likely to cause so much pain, and we don't know the facts. Not one of us was out there that night. Not one of us, and that's the very reason we have this courtroom. We sort of piece it together by little bits and pieces, whether it's coming from statements the defendant has made, challenged in videotapes, or whether it's forensic evidence. I mean, we do have a system to try to resolve it rather than the microphone. The microphone's not where you're supposed to seek justice. And, we don't know what happened that night, but, we've all agreed. These 6 people are going to decide it for us. The lawyers in the courtroom agreed. The prosecutor did, so maybe we ought to let that happen, and after it does happen, we ought to accept it, whether we like it or not.
All right, Greta, we got to go for this block, but, Greta, we're going to come back to you for more in a few minutes, but first,